everyone, and welcome to the very first day of Halloween. I'm so excited. Do you guys like my background? Let me move over so you can see it. So cute. Love it. Anyways, Halloween. If you've never heard of Halloween, it's basically whenever I upload a spooky video every single day for a whole week leading up to Halloween. Today, we are going to be talking about the life and legacy of Robert Johnson and how Robert sold his soul to the devil in exchange for musical talent and fame. Robert Johnson was born on May 8th, 1911 in Hazelhurst, Mississippi. Growing up, Robert was always interested in music and he wanted to be a musician so bad. And whenever Robert became a teenager, he began to dabble into music. His older brother even taught him how to play a couple chords on the guitar. But Robert wasn't really good at playing the guitar because he really excelled at playing the harmonica. A couple years later, a popular musician called Sunhouse and a musician named Willie Brown started playing at a local juke joint close to where Robert lived. Robert loved listening to them perform, and he would go to the juke joint every single week so he can listen to them perform. Then one time, whenever Robert was 19 years old, he went to Robbinsville, Mississippi to listen to Sunhouse and Willie Brown perform. During this performance, Sunhouse and Willie Brown took a little break in between the shows, and Robert worked up enough courage to get on stage and play music for the crowd. So Robert went onto the stage, took one of the musicians' guitars, and started playing music. Robert wasn't very good at playing the guitar, and the crowd absolutely hated listening to him play the guitar, so much so that they literally booed him off the stage. After getting booed off the stage, Robert was embarrassed, humiliated, and sad, and he eventually decided to go home. And whenever Robert left, everyone was making fun of Robert and talking about how terrible he was at playing the guitar. Sunhouse even did an interview and talked about how terrible Robert was at playing the guitar.
And we stopped the rest and sit there, little guitar over in the corner or something, and go out to catch air, get the guitar and be trying to play it and be just noising the people, And the folks would come out and say, why don't some of y'all go in there and make that boy get that thing down, he's running us crazy.
A couple months had went by and nobody had heard from Robert until Robert showed up at another Sunhouse show months later. This time, whenever Robert showed up, he came with his own guitar strapped to his back. Robert's guitar was a 6-string guitar that had a 7th string tied onto it, and this style of guitar was very uncommon during this time period. But anyways, Sunhouse and Willie Brown remembered Robert from embarrassing himself at one of their shows. And whenever they saw Robert with his own guitar strapped onto his back, they both started laughing and making fun of Robert. But Robert got his guitar off of his back and started playing his guitar to the crowd.
Give me your right hand.
Everyone's mouth dropped. Robert was playing chords that had never been heard in the music industry before, and the crowd loved it. Everyone was cheering for Robert. But Sunhouse and Willie Brown were a little confused because they remember how terrible Robert was at playing the guitar just a few months ago. And in less than a year, Robert became a pro at playing the guitar. Once Sunhouse saw how good Robert was at playing the guitar at his show, he asked Robert how he learned how to play the guitar that good in such a short amount of time. Robert said that he took his guitars to the Crossroads at 49 and 61 at midnight and made a deal with the devil. Robert said that the devil would give him incredible guitar skills in exchange for his soul. Robert thought that was a pretty good deal, and he made a deal with the devil. Robert gave the devil his guitar, and the devil tuned his guitar and gave it back to Robert, and Robert began to play his guitar in a way that he was never able to play it before. And after that, Robert became extremely talented. Robert recorded 29 songs that he wrote himself, and in his lifetime, he only had one hit song called Terraplane Blues.
They've been driving my terraplane for years since I've been gone.
Robert had a total of 59 live performances in his lifetime. Unfortunately, on August 16, 1938, Robert passed away at the ripe age of 27 on a plantation near Greenwood, Mississippi, making Robert the first celebrity to ever enter into the 27 Club. Robert's death is quite the mystery though, and it's kind of controversial. The owner of the plantation that Robert died on said that Robert died from syphilis, but Robert's friends didn't really buy the whole syphilis thing. Robert's friend, David Honeyboy Edwards, who Robert had just performed with days before he passed away, had a different explanation for Robert's death. David said that Robert was fine until he drank some whiskey, and David believes that the whiskey that Robert drank was poisoned. According to David, Robert loved two things: whiskey, and women. And Robert was pretty good with the ladies, especially because he was so talented. Robert had one fan who was a married lady, and she adored Robert. So much so that she cheated on her husband with Robert. Eventually, this woman's husband found out about the affair and he was not happy about it. And he decided that he was going to get revenge. So one night he went to the juke joint that Robert was playing at and put poison in Robert's whiskey. And during this night, while Robert was performing, he was taking drinks of his whiskey. And during this performance, Robert got really sick. Robert got so sick that he had to stop performing and go home. And just a few days later, Robert Johnson passed away. For a long time, nobody knew where Robert was buried. And people in the community would place headstones at different churches and other places around the Greenwood area to show respect for Robert. But finally, 60 years after Robert's death, researchers found where Robert was actually buried. Robert was buried at Little Zion Baptist Church's cemetery in Greenwood, Mississippi. Robert's life and legacy has been influential in the music industry for decades. Robert's story is even referenced in the movie Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
What are you doing out in the middle of nowhere?
Well, I had to be at that there Crossroads last midnight. Sell my soul to the devil.
Well, ain't it a small world, spiritually speaking? Pete and Delmer just been baptized and saved. I guess I'm the only one that remains unaffiliated.
This ain't no laughing matter, Everett.
What'd the devil give you for your soul, Tommy?
Well, he taught me to play this here guitar real good.
Oh, son, for that you traded your everlasting soul?
Well, I wouldn't use me.
The person here is Tommy Johnson, but Robert's story is exactly the same as what is being portrayed here. But that is all I have for today's first Halloween video. Make sure you guys are subscribed to my channel because I will be uploading videos every single day this week to my channel for your entertainment. I will see you guys tomorrow with another spooky video. I love you guys so much. Stay safe and stay spooky. Bye.